Welcome back, y'all.
What up, boo?
We're bringing the energy today, you guys.
Things are wild around here.
Whoop, whoop.
We have had a couple days. Good, but whoo,
Uh-huh.
the work. Which is good, because I think when we are fatigued, when we're tired, so often we absorb others' emotions.
I was waiting.
You like that tie-in?
Yeah, I really do.
Was it good or no? I think it
It
was
was
good.
good.
Yeah, today we're going to be talking about how to not be an emotional sponge. How you can lead. Looking at you, Christine. How to lead without absorbing everyone else's emotions. So caring doesn't mean that you care for everything. It means you care appropriately for the right things, and that there ultimately is a much healthier way to lead emotionally. So you can care.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a hard ass. You just don't have to care about everything. So we're going to talk about how to care about the right things, the role of an emotional container, what that's supposed to look like. See this eye contact I'm making with you right now?
Really?
You're like not looking at me. I hope you guys get a chance to watch the YouTube version of this.
Never sat so straight at the camera. I'm like, hello, camera. I really love you guys right now. This is for you. We're not talking to Taylor today because I'm getting called out. Really, how we come up with these topics is just what Taylor would like to call me out on in our business. And he's like, let's do a topic about this. No, I'm just kidding. I'm the one who picked this one.
You did. You knew.
Usually it's me calling myself out, so y'all are welcome. No, this topic comes from a real honest place in my heart.
In your heart of hearts. In your little leadership heart. Yeah.
My kids say I'm the Grinch. Maybe my heart's too small, but I don't think that's true because I care too much. Yeah, so
I've seen it happen.
Before, I know you really have. You're like, what are you doing? It's usually the question. But before...
Question.
Not getting away with it. I'm excited to ask this question because I think I would get the heat for this question. I would have a lot of examples, but I'm actually excited to hear your example. So my question is, when is a time that you were the team's emotional sponge?
I mean, I struggle with this too. You know, I mean, we've joked about like, you know, this being about you. This is something that I struggle with a lot. You know, the way that I've described it for myself is when you want it more than the other person wants it, or you can see it more clearly than the other person, you just get so frustrated that they won't like step into it or won't do it, and so you take on the weight of them, you know, falling short of their full potential or not stepping up or not. Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know. I think it's happened a lot. I find myself in that trap a good bit. It's something, I mean, that's why we built this topic, is because it's something that, like so many of the things that we talk about, it's something that we've experienced ourselves. I think if I'm not careful, it happens a lot. You know, I overcommit. I extend myself for the purposes of trying to be a support system for someone else. I take on their trials and tribulations and their backstory of, you know, why they couldn't do something or why they couldn't accomplish it or why they fell short of their goal or why their sob story about this, that, and the other. And, you know, I'm here to be emotionally available, but at the end of the day, you know, sometimes the answer is just like, you didn't do it. You fell short. You dropped the ball. You didn't step up to the plate. And the emotional baggage that so often comes with that is not mine to own. And I find myself still, I'm aware of it. I try to catch myself. I've gotten a lot better, but yeah, I find myself in that place all the time. You know, okay, well, that's okay. And how can I help you solve that? What do you need? What support? It's not my problem to solve. And there's a point at which clear boundaries and clear expectations are my responsibility, that individual. And after that, I walk away. It's their responsibility to step up in alignment with where we're at, and so all of the emotional stuff that comes with that. And again, I don't want to sound crass, but it's all the sob stories and the this and the that, and my car and the family and my kids and the dog, and like I can't carry all that.
Poor dogs.
I know.
They just get the heat.
Poor little dogs. I would do anything for dogs. Yeah. Kids, not my concern. If you have a dog problem, I'm here for you.
Yeah. No, you have a bigger soft spot for that too. Yeah. Okay.
You like that? No?
Mm-hmm.
Man, you seem displeased.
Well, no, you're right. 100%. And I think the interesting part is I rarely see you walk away. Typically, when you are helping people take ownership over and steward their full potential well, they end up walking away.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have never seen you walk away from someone.
I think that's true.
Yeah, you don't walk away from people.
Yeah, they walk away because it's scary to be confronted. I show up big for people, and when I do that, I try to be honest about what I think they're capable of and what I think they need to do to step into their full potential. And when that's black and white, people get really scared, and it's easier to fail than to step towards the goals.
Well, it's easier to give up, than fail.
Or I mean, yeah. Also, like
not
it's less scary to fail for a thing that you never tried at than to try and recognize that it requires work and to fall short, right? Like it's
well said. That's what I was trying to say. Yes.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You're right for sure.
No,
that happens a ton. You've seen that happen. Like,
yeah, no, we're rock stars of that.
Yeah, and I think there's. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, you and I have talked about this a lot. Part of that is some sort of like attraction piece, truthfully, that I would like to solve to some extent. Although, like, there's a piece of that that's a gift as well. And so how do you, finding the right person that is excited to be pushed and to step into those opportunities and to communicate effectively. And, that's the right person.
Mm-hmm.
But I do, for whatever reason, I also tend to attract, and I think it's because I over support. I think it's because I struggle with this, right? Like they're like, oh, that's great. Like Taylor can help me, versus like Taylor's paved the path. I can help myself. And so, there's a misalignment from an attraction perspective. I've gotten better at fixing that. That's not as much of an epidemic as it used to be. There was a while there where I just felt like I couldn't get rid of them. I was like, why is everyone around me got their hand out?
Well, I think it's, and we'll get into this right now, but I think one of the things that I've watched you change, and we have changed together, is we don't try to solve the problem. Like for so long, we looked at our systems and processes and our products and our services. And when people were failing, we just always took responsibility. And I think it got to the point where it was false responsibility. And honestly, we were leading around people instead of teaching people how to lead and take ownership and steward what they're called to well. And I think you and we pivoted and changed our business model because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's been a huge shift. Like this topic is super real for us because we've lived it really. It's been so real. Mm-hmm. I said real a lot.
Really real.
Really.
Just in case you wondered if we were lying to you.
It was real. It was so for real. Okay, so let's talk about it. Let's just like dive into how we solve this.
Let's get really, really, really serious about emotional.
Really serious.
I want to get real here.
Okay, good. I was hoping you were going to say that. So, Taylor, what is the role of an emotional container? Because we're not therapists, we're leaders, and as leaders, we are containers.
Yep.
We only have so much capacity as a container. Have you ever had leftovers and you put the leftovers away and you try to put the lid on and it's too full and it just spills over the side? If you're feeling that way, things are just
your spaghetti's falling out the side.
Pushed your container too far. It can't hold anymore.
You need to upgrade your Tupperware.
Yeah. Have someone share them noodles.
Yeah, sponsored by Tupperware.
So how what is the role of that? Let's talk about that. Break that down for us.
So yeah, like you said, I mean, as leaders, one of our and it is a core function of leadership. We hold space. We are a container for things like conflict, for things like fear, for frustration, for trepidation, for a lack of confidence, for we do serve the role of being this emotional container, right? People come to us as a place, hopefully that is safe and that they can trust and that they can voice those fears and frustrations, and we can mitigate and facilitate those challenging conversations and those conflicts. But over time, that stacks up, right? Every day, every hour, week on week, month over month, we do that. We create that space, and it is our job to create an environment of safety within our organizations, and that stacks up over time. And so when that stacks up, the result ultimately is that a few things happen. One, we withdraw, right? So we're like, I can't take this anymore. I can't be this container. I can't hold the weight of these people and myself and the business. Like, we're not even talking about the weight and the layers of the decisions required and the weight of that, of leading an organization. And we also will tend to lash out. So you snap, right? We all, when the container overflows, something's got to give. That is where communication breaks down in our leadership style. That's where we're short. That's where we're not clear. That's where we're not objective. That's where we get overly emotional in our decisions. That manifests lots of different ways, and depending on the individual. And then ultimately, the kind of end version of that is that we really just kind of quietly burn out. And this is the quiet piece is key, because as leaders, there's often, even if you're in a leadership team, this tends to happen in isolation, right? We are singularly holding that weight. We are a singular container. We also recognize that everyone else, if we are in a leadership group, is also a container. And so we feel like, well, I can't go to them. They got their own container, and I know it's full. And so we just kind of suffer in silence, and we burn out quietly. And so that container, while it is an integral part of, I think, great leadership and again, creating that space, our responsibility to hold that is different. And I think and it needs to go somewhere else. We need to be able to stay grounded while we hold that space, while we lead others, while we make those decisions, while we do all the things that leadership entails. We have to kind of shed that, we got to offload the noodles, right? We got to make space in the container. So with that in mind, walk us through how do we actually stay grounded while we're in service of others?
Yeah, this is the thing that I think separates good leaders from great leaders, is the ability to have emotional resilience. So I'm going to break down just 3 things that I think can be really helpful, because when we want to hold space with our team, we don't want to create the atmosphere and the culture that people shut down and they won't talk to us because we're emotionally shut down. And then that shuts the team down, right? So there's a way to hold the space, but not take on the weight and false responsibility. And so I think there is like a very fine line here. I think sometimes we want to do this, we want to hold the space, but then it becomes too much and then we get shut down. And then like the pendulum swings. So here's a few ways that you can do this tactically, and just create a culture where people take ownership, and yet stay connected and open to where there isn't people in burnout or shut down. So the first one is emotional boundaries. Practice emotional boundaries. So if you don't have emotional boundaries, people will run all over you and you'll become falsely responsible. And so what that sounds like, so you don't shut people down, is I hear you and I trust you to handle this. I hear you and I trust you to lead through this. I think a lot of times people just kind of want to dump, and they just want to be heard, or they just want someone to hold the space. They don't actually really care if you listen. They just want to say the things out loud. We see that a lot in our clients, and it can become pretty toxic within a team because it turns into gossip and all of that stuff. So I think the emotional boundary of I hear you and I trust you to lead through this versus I will deal with it is a big difference, and that will create leadership versus complacency and false responsibility for you. The second one is use check-ins to guide, not fix your team's emotions. So check in with them, see how they're doing, guide them, but don't fix them. This starts with trusting them. If you don't trust your team to take care of this and lead through challenges, lead through emotional stress, then you got to fix that. You got to have trust within the team, because if you have leaders around you that you don't trust, then you're always going to be leading from your back foot and in protection versus connection and truly elevating their skills. The last one is decompress daily. Don't carry today's weight into tomorrow. So this one's big for me. We actually went to a cold plunge and like contrast event last night. I usually contrast therapy in the morning. I don't know why I don't do that at night. I think you do that at night.
Yeah.
I never end my day with that. And it was like this moment, I'm like, it's literally at my house. Why don't I do this? You have to have something to interrupt your day and reset your energy. And one of the best ways to do that is movement and a cold shower, any of the things that will actually regulate your nervous system. You got to get those into your practice. And so decompress, write it down, like whatever the practice is. And if you don't know that practice, figure it out, like try some stuff for a few weeks so that you can get really clear on what that looks like for you so you can decompress. So if you're in a place where you're like, yes, I'm going to try all those things, but I'm just like, I'm in a place where I'm absorbing too much. I'm in it right now. What are the signs, Taylor? If you're like, am I or am I not? Is this a problem? How do you know the signs of that?
There's some clear signs. I think the first one is if you dread interactions with your team. So if you dread the team check-in, if you dread the Monday morning call or the Friday afternoon, whatever, that's a sign that you are dreading that interaction because you are afraid that something else is going to be put in your container, or that you are going to have to show up purely as that emotional container versus being able to ask for support, receive feedback, like get what you need as a leader. Next is if you struggle to turn it off at home, it's like you were saying, having those clear kind of demarcations in your day is super important. If you're struggling to turn it off, that ultimately tends to be a clear sign of burnout, which we talked about earlier. That's that kind of quiet burnout where you're just like, you know what, I guess this is just my role. I guess I'm just here for everyone else. It doesn't matter. My time's not important. Let me just keep going. I'm only here to work. that's kind of how that can look and sound, that internal dialogue when we can't turn it off. And then you lose the joy that you had in your role. So if you're finding no joy in your leadership role, in your work, in the support of others, watching other people rise to the occasion, then I think that's really the clear cut and dry. Like, again, we've talked about this a lot. Leadership is a service-based role. So if you're not enjoying being in service of the people around you, and you're losing joy there, then that's really, I think, probably the clearest sign, and ultimately probably kind of the end of the road. You've been through all the steps. So if that's happening, you can recenter yourself. You can ask yourself, is this mine to solve or support? So I think just a good check-in question. Language is really powerful, that internal narrative and dialogue. So just some checks and balances that we can put in place for ourselves in the form of a good, powerful question. And so the question that I like to ask is this mine to solve, or is it mine to support? And again, hey, I hear you, but like, I trust you to solve that, right? Don't be afraid to put trust in others and to pass that back to them. You can hear them, you can hold that space, and then you can give it back to them. You don't have to keep carrying that. So that's just a great check-in question. I like that. And, you can build that personal reset routine as well. Again, circling back to what you said, that's, it's going for walks. It can be journaling, it's meditation, it's breath work. Voice notes are great. Just get your ideas out. It's nice. Even if someone's on the other end, putting that down in a voice memo. You can do coaching, right? So we work with lots of people that just need an outlet, right? They're at the top, they're the pointy end of the spear. I just need somebody to run ideas by. I need a sounding board. I need someone who has an emotional investment in my progress, because I have an emotional investment in everyone else's. And so just protecting your capacity to make sure that you show up well is a great way to just, again, these are opportunities and ways to re-center yourself if and when you find yourself absorbing too much in that emotional container is overflowing.
Yeah. Your spaghetti is falling over.
And your spaghetti's on the counter.
Leadership challenge.
Ding, 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 ding.
So this week, your leadership challenge is to track your emotional energy you're holding that is not yours. So what are the things that you're holding? They're, I have literally scheduled babysitters for employees. It's happened.
Wow. Truth telling here.
Whew. So if you're doing something like that, you need to stop. It doesn't pay off. They always end up mad at you when you stop doing those things. And then they leave and they're mad at you. And nobody grew any trust in themselves. So figure out what is the stuff that you're not holding. If you're giving, I know it can feel good. Like you get a benefit from that. We wouldn't do it if we didn't. It feels good to help people. I really do want to help people, but sometimes helping hurts. So if you're not helping them live more in alignment and push for their full potential, then you're hurting them. You're creating a victim mentality. You're leading around them and you're not helping them grow into the leader they were created to be. So kind of track that energy that you're holding and you're taking on, and then practice releasing it so you can stay steady with others through their storm, not being responsible for their storm. So, if you want, actually, you know what?
I don't know what.
We have so many opportunities. If you're in Denver, we have a whole wellness day coming up. So if you're looking for ways, if you want to practice your emotional resilience and being able to reset, let it all go, decompress, we have so many opportunities. So Taylor, tell us more about it.
Yeah. So we are going to be doing, as part of Colorado Startup Week, we have a full half day in Littleton, Colorado. We'll put all the information in the show notes, but yeah, mix of wellness, networking, tactical guidance on business development. We have all kinds of incredible things. And that is going to be one not to be missed. Super excited about that. We're doing retreats or a retreat for entrepreneurs in the health and wellness space. That is coming up the 19th through the 21st. And then, as always, you can find us at impactinitiative.network. So if you're not in Denver or anywhere that will be this month, then you can find us online. Again, that's impactinitiative.network. See what we're up to. Check out what we're how we can support you and your business, and make sure that you're not absorbing too much. And until then, we'll see you next time on Impact Minded.
Bye, y'all.